Ass titties.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Talkin' Tricks, and today we are actually talking about TKT, also known as True Kick Terminology. And as you may know if you've listened to all our episodes, we did hit on it a little bit with vert kicks, but we decided that it's a topic that's worth taking a deep dive into, because then we can really, I guess, dissect it and try to look at it objectively and see if it really is valuable or if it's kind of shit like we say it is. And trust me, we tried. We really tried to make it work.
Yeah. No, I was kind of like, there's actually some cool things going on with TKT, like a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, nothing substantial enough to make me want to subscribe to that kind of kick theory.
I really did try to make TKT work, but it just doesn't really, it just misses the mark in what the true problem within kicking is, which we also hit on vert kicks, but we'll really also take a deep dive in today. But, sorry for the spoiler, it's still shit, but we're really going to try.
Yeah. We actually did a little bit of research on the topic too, our own independent research, and
we'll post that separately. We recorded ourselves doing research for a good amount of time too. But go on, sorry.
Right. No, exactly. But we tried to figure it out objectively, like you said, Frank. We looked at it, or as objectively as possible. I'm pretty old head about it. I was pretty sure that my opinions weren't going to change on TKT, and they haven't. But
surprise.
At the same time, though, I did learn some new and interesting things about TKT that I didn't know before, that I think are to its merit, so to speak. But like you said, Frank, it fails at its primary objective, in my opinion, and also it has some other shortcomings that we'll discuss, too.
Yeah, I agree. So I guess enough with foreshadowing. Let's get into TKT. And I think a good introduction is, what is TKT? For the uninitiated, because I don't think it's super widespread. I know the Colorado kicking scene, a good amount of them use it, but for the most part, I do see everyone use mainstream kicks, which we all know mainstream kicks, right? So cheat 9, that's a 2 twists, or sorry, it's 1.5 twists, right? Round? I don't even know.
Right.
I honestly, I don't even measure degrees because I don't think it matters, and that's part of why I don't like TKT. But yeah, we know 9s. Basically, we count it as triggers as a 1 twist round, even though it's a little more than 1 twist, and we also call it a 2.5 twist with the 900 because holy shit. But yeah, we know our 540s, our 720s, all of that. Which, as an aside, I also think the switch between 540 and 720 is what fucked up a lot of tricking terminology, is we named 720 720 because it was the next kick after 540, but it's actually the exact same degrees as 540. And
yeah, it's just a hook.
It's
rather than a swipe.
We clearly just didn't know what we were doing.
We still don't.
No, so far off the mark still. So a lot of this is really in reference to cheat kicks, and don't get me wrong, TKT is also done for backside and frontside kicks. But a lot of it is in reference to cheat kicks because it tries to solve how many degrees are on the floor, how many degrees are in the air, and they just kind of mix it together, and that's the value or whatever. Even though this on the ground spin is kind of highly variable between triggers, I would say it's between 90 and 180 degrees that a trigger might twist on the ground. Maybe even more sometimes.
Maybe 270.
Yeah, and I would unironically still count that because I'm lame.
Oh, I would too.
Yeah. And a lot of people are really weird about over cheating. Which, don't get me wrong, if someone's doing a world's first, I'm gonna look at over cheating. I'm gonna be oh, you did 16, but you spent 360 degrees on the ground. Nah. I'm good.
Right.
So obviously cheat 9, cheat 7, little broken because it's not very accurate and reflective of like the actual thing that's going on. I mean, 1.5 twists is 900. Like that's a whole 360 degrees off. So what TKT essentially tries to do is it tries to rectify that. It's like, hey, let's get the actual degrees of rotation, and it's going to be the true kick terminology. It's going to be the real, whatever rotation happens, and they also describe whether it's a round or a hook. And this is, in essence, to, like, differentiate between frontside and backside, if I understand it well. Like, am I right in that assessment, Jason?
Well, what's that?
Like, in TKT, for example, someone would say cheat 7 round or whatever, and that's cheat 9, I think, right? Or no, is it 360 off? Oh, fuck.
Cheat 540 round is cheat 9.
Cheat 540 round, that's right. So cheat 540 round is cheat 9, but like if you did cheat 540 hook, even though no one does that, that's technically like the front side version because the backside version is whatever. It works better with the punch and the pops, but that's still something you can do. But
right,
I don't know.
It's something that actually doesn't in practice doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think is what you're saying, because like in reality you'd be kicking at like complete or like semi, I'm sure, something like that.
You'd be kicking a very weird place, but I guess the reason I say that is like I've never heard anyone say 540 hook. By the way, the reason for TKT, but the reason I say that is because TKT still makes this differentiation between hook and round, and I surmise it's for a reason. Otherwise, why would you say it? It'd be understood that if you did, cheat 540 in TKT, that's cheat 9. So the reason they have to say hook and round is because there is a way to do a hook and a round at that degrees of rotation.
Right.
And maybe that's just a remnant of like the punch variations. I guess our viewers who knew more about TKT can comment on that down below. But that's, I don't know, I'm just kind of surmising what it's doing when it says rounded.
Well, that's the thing too, because like you said, you mentioned the difference between like pop and punch.
Yeah.
Frontside and backside being described with specific amounts of
pop
rotation.
And punch. I hate that. That's like you just said that because we used to call frontside pop, and it's just the worst. Anyway, sorry. Go on.
Yeah. No. You're 100% right. It's a old head relic of the past that needs to die. Because you can pop into backside.
Exactly.
But still, despite that, and punch into backside, as well as punch into frontside tricks.
You can punch into a pop somehow. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you could. Exactly.
The worst.
So, exactly. Yeah, hate. But like you said, and you can intuit it by kind of like figuring it out and spend a lot of time doing it. But like, I feel like if you're going to present a framework that's trying to do all this work, you would kind of hold my hand and guide me to the understanding that you're trying to have me reach. Because like, as we found out, we had to, like, when we were performing a lot of our own research on the Aeroformat website.
Yeah.
We had to like figure out what formula they were using to calculate kicks, like, before like the next level up and the next level down. And I still, like, you couldn't ask me and I couldn't tell you what it is, even though I'm like, we're literally looking at it. So, like, I don't know. It's something that it seems like it's very obscured. The formula to understanding it all is not clear, as it is within normal tricking.
Yeah. And
we're like normal tricking terminology, where we understand 9 to be, as you described, Frank, a single twist round, and 10 to be that, but hyperhooks essentially, or 1.5/2 twists hyperhook. Yeah. And it's
more intuitive in my opinion when you think of it that way. Like,
I do too. It's streamlined. It's easy. It's and in that regard, the amount of rotation doesn't actually matter, which is what we're gonna get to in another point. But I just wanted to express like this like vagueness, this like it's very unclear as to what formula TKT is like following, and like it feels like you have to sit down and figure it out on your own.
Yeah, and like don't get me wrong, I think it like has a purpose, because for example, the way I would analogize this is like when you're at the gym and you're like, let's say you're benching or some shit like that. It's really easy to just say like, oh yeah, I benched one plate. You know, one plate would be like, I guess, our normal kick terminology. I know I'm doing one twist round. You know, you just put one plate on, you know that's 135, but you don't have to explicitly say it's 135 and stuff like that. And like, that's a very easy way for, like, especially people who are just coming in to conceptualize it. And that's useful in its own right. Like, oh, I did one plate. Oh, I did two plates, whatever. It starts to get really clunky once you start saying, like, oh, I did a plate and a 25 and a 5. You know, I did a plate and two 25. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you keep saying that, then, like, it does get clunky at some point. So in those instances, I could see how it's useful to be like, oh, you know, 2 plates, I did 215, but after that I hit, I don't know, 250 or some shit like that. You know what I mean? It's like, it is a little more reflective. It requires a little more thought, or just, like, getting used to the gym, because once you get used to the gym, you like, intuitively understand those numbers. So I guess I see the usefulness in that. So yeah, I mean, it's just giving you your true amount of rotation. But like I said, when a lot of tricking revolves around, it only matters if you have 1 plate or 2 plates or 3 plates. Like, we actually don't really care about the in-betweeners too much. We really just go by halves. So it's not like there's a lot of, those weird situations where it's like, you did exactly, like, 730 degrees or something like that. Like, you know what I mean?
I think that's a great point. And that, as you were describing that, I was literally like, well, you also said before too that we don't really care about like the like if you were doing like cheat 360 round, I guess. I'm just
listen, Jason. I was trying so hard to give it credit. Okay.
I know you were, but and like you're totally right though. Like I think TKT does have its use. It just like we had just said before, it like falls flat on its goal. Where what we were just talking about, though, is useful, or, like, potentially useful, is TKT's distinguishing between frontside and backside tricks, which I don't know if you want to talk about now.
No, I do. Well, really quick before we get into that, actually, I just double-checked what we were saying before. So 720 round is actually cheat 9, because wrap 9 is actually somehow cheat 540 round, because I guess there's less rotation on the ground, is what they're getting at. Which I kind of see. It's 180 degrees less because the first, and like when I'm picturing doing cheat 9 in my head, I'm like, including the rotation on the ground, yeah, it's 2 twists or whatever. So I don't know. I just wanted to offer that correction.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know either, to be honest. Like, I just did TKT for this episode, and I'm probably never going to touch it again.
Oh, another good thing. I still think it is useful to know, just so you could talk to more triggers. Like, I do think that that's actually a genuine benefit of it, because when I'm with the Colorado triggers, like, yeah, I don't know TKT perfectly, but I could still pick up if they say 7 round. I'm like, okay, that was G9. Like, I kind of intuitively understand that. Whether they say 540 round or 720 round, I was like, okay, well, it was like that 180 degree difference, but I could still surmise what it was, you know?
Yeah, it's like learning another language so that you could survive in another country, essentially.
And all you need to know is hola and yo tengo un pollo loco en mis pantalones. So, yeah.
Chicken in the pants.
I hate that you actually knew what I said.
Of course, Frank, come on.
That's all you need to know to get along. You don't need the whole language.
No, you just need to know chicken in the pants.
Yeah, of course.
And can I go to the bathroom?
Yeah. Do you? I mean, whatever.
Yes. I needed to in Spanish class in high school.
Oh.
Specifically needed to know how to ask how to go to the bathroom.
To go to the bathroom, what a dick. Damn. I mean...
Yeah, it was the worst.
It probably became a staple.
No. She wasn't... The Spanish teacher wasn't the dick. All the kids in class were a dick to the Spanish teacher. All.
Yeah?
They were always so rude to the foreign language teachers.
Aww.
You know, total disrespect, yeah.
It's the internalized racism really of America. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna reflect on it. Anyway, so yeah, like we were saying before, the distinction between like 360 round and 540 round, or these like odd numbers, like they actually do apply to frontside and backside, but they still retain the same issue that TKT has overall, and it's that obscure formula that's being used that isn't mapped out or laid out or explained anywhere for you. and you have to kind of like sit down and do the math and figure out what it is. And I'm sure there's some TKT nerd out there who's like, "Oh, you guys are so dumb. Here's the formula right here. It only took 2 days of like, fuck you." Okay? Like, I'm not some like shit backyard tricker who started last week. Okay, like,
right.
I've been around since the idea of TKT started coming around.
That's true.
It's stupid. It's just bad.
It's just bad. So okay, well, to elaborate on what you were saying about backside and frontside, so so traditionally when you're doing frontside and backside kicks, you would say backside 9, but then for the, I guess you can't really say equivalent because they are kind of different, but for the equivalent frontside, you'd say, what would you say, frontside 7? Or no? I just fucked that
are you
up.
talking about
for just
like,
regular kick terminology? I actually
Oh no, it's still the same. They still like pop 9 and backside 9 are the same in regards to like the name. The difference is frontside kicks have 180 more degrees, or 100 or 360 degrees more rotation.
Yo, so this is one of my big problems about TKT is just now I was getting fucked up with how TKT names things versus how mainstream names things, and I was like, yeah, that's what that is. So no, you're absolutely right. Frontside 9, you add the 180 degrees, and then it's quote unquote the same kick, but whatever.
Right. Yeah, and this is I love the live example of a problem with TKT that we have is that like it muddies communication in the same way that it like helps you like communicate in your particular geographic area. It like also causes confusion.
Yeah, it does.
We have more notes on that. We'll come back to it, but backside and frontside.
Yeah, it doesn't help that I also never use frontside, and I'm pretty sure no one uses frontside.
No, you're right. Frontside is actually like a dead thing, but I'm trying to bring it back.
Yeah, of course. Actually, I think we should bring it back. We should do like Mega Envergados, and then like go into a frontside.
Wow. Yes.
Right?
Yes, actually.
I love that.
Actually, yes.
Okay.
I love that a lot too.
Or even better, like coming
front flips.
Oh, front flips
punch.
into pop kicks, or short completes into pop kicks. How about that?
Ooh, that would be actually. Catch me doing full short complete D leg, punch, backside or frontside 9. I mean. Catch me do it. That's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Talking Tricks heard it here first.
Yeah. Also, I think you mean pop 720 round.
Shut up,
First
Frank.
of all, I had to double check that. By the way, I literally looked.
So, TKT is actually accurate.
Mm-hmm.
That is like literally 2 twists round.
Yeah, that is very good about it.
Yes,
that's all I can say.
That is a very good thing about it. Perfect.
I know words. 540. Yeah. So, and you're right, because backside. It's weird because backside can take off from like a 90-degree space, so it's like a little difficult to say for sure that like it is 540 round. But I mean, I'll give it. Yeah, I'll let it slide. It's fine. It's
for sure.
It's 540 round if you take off of absolute complete. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. So, if you really want to be like true TKT, then you would say what's 540 minus 90? 450. You would say pop 450 round for the in-betweeners, you know?
Yeah. Which would be true twist rotation, right?
Yeah.
Exact amount of rotation.
Well, that's what TKT tries to do is give your true
right.
twist rotation, but obviously it's kind of failing here. But like I said, I'll let that one slide. It's not too deep. Like, we don't really care about 90-degree increments, except when it's absolute and short. But, you know, so...
So, you've got it up right now. I know our viewers can't see. Can you switch pop to cheat really quick? I want to see what that changes it to.
It's wrap. So if you cheat 540 round,
I hate that.
So I think the reason why though, no, Jason, you have to give it the benefit.
So wait, so it counts cheat as a front side kick then?
Well, that in that instance, so because look at 720, because then that's cheat 9. So it depends how much rotation.
Right. But what if you switched cheat to pop? Then that's frontside 9.
And then to 540 and it's backside.
So they say that cheat has the same amount of rotation as pop.
Cheat has the same as pop. I don't think so. I think it's wrap that has the same amount as pop. Yeah, wrap and pop are synonymous, and then cheat and backside are synonymous. Does that make sense? Which, that doesn't really make sense to me, actually. So
that seems, actually, it seems backwards. It seems like wrap and backside are synonymous, and then pop and cheat are synonymous.
I agree, and the reason why we're saying that, by the way, is because wrap will typically take off of absolute hyper, while cheat, when you're lifting off your foot for the first time, is typically at absolute semi. So, which is, you know, that's going to be backside and front side respectively. So, yeah.
Okay.
I guess that's another complaint I have, is I really like my symmetry in my tricking formats, and it doesn't really have that clean. Like, it seems like pop is very separate from cheat, which is very separate from swing. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. That's just me. So, I mean, we've already named so many cons, but there is a really, really big one for me. And we
the glaring issue with trick theory, with TKT.
The what?
I said it's our glaring issue with TKT.
Oh, well, no, I have a glaring issue. But a really quick issue that I also have that's really big is the fact that it's a new tricking terminology thing that uses the same, I guess, verbiage, but ever so slightly differently. And I think that's the most confusing way to make a new model. Like, when you're trying to make a new tricking model, yeah, coming up with completely new terms does kind of suck, because there's just completely new terms you have to learn, but at the same time, it has the added benefit of, like, you're not going to confuse it with other things. But on the other hand, you could also use the same terms, but use it to refer to very different things, and then it's like, it's a lot harder to confuse them, if that makes any sense. But then you could do what TKT is doing, and it uses the exact same numbering and everything, like verbiage basically, but it just shifts it ever so slightly. So, and that's like the most confusing version, because it's like the worst of both worlds. It's like you have the like confusingness of having to use new verbiage, but you also have the confusingness of it's way too similar to the old tricking format, if that makes any sense. So
right. So and then in addition to that, you can easily confuse, like, if someone's not aware you're talking about TKT and they overhear you talking about TKT, they might think you're talking about, like, you know, regular tricking terminology.
Yep.
And they're going to be totally off. And that's a good point that you bring up. That was another thing I wanted to talk about with regards to, like just how difficult TKT is like, you're making an already really, like, confusing situation, like, much more confusing by using pre-existing terminology in a way that, like, shifts you know, our current understanding, because, like,
yeah,
when you
it just by an increment, it just shifts it by an increment. Sorry,
right. And initially, though, I was like, wow, you know, kind of call this out, Frank, because we use pre-existing terminology for our framework. However, we maintained a semblance of what that already existing terminology meant, and then kind of just expanded upon it rather than, like, shifted it entirely.
And that's what I was getting at, is like a lot of, so some of the terms we come up with in the past, well, not we've come up with, like ultra, for example, is completely different, but it describes a like a phenomenon that is the same as something else, and it'd be really confusing if it was like we did super semi instead of semi or some shit like that. I don't know, like, I can't really come up with anything right now, but like ultra.
Well, no, I think ultra is a good example, because ultra doesn't reapply the concept of semi somewhere else and call it semi. Yeah. You know, it just instead, like, it's its own unique. It's like just a replacement term entirely, an entirely new term for something else.
Yeah. Well, for example. TKT to me is like if when me and you were coming up with short and absolute landing stances, is if we did short and full landing stances. That would be very confusing if we said full mega, because we already use full mega in like a different context already. So it's like, you know what I mean? So that would make it very confusing in the verbiage, but that's why we pick different terms. That's why we pick different terms for ultra. The format we're going to show you in a little bit uses a lot of the same terms, but in a very different way that hasn't been done before, but it's still familiar to triggers. So, and you understand exactly what I mean. The tricking format that we worked on is like the first example, or the second example I gave earlier, if that makes any sense. I wish I had words for them. But
all right, we'll get to it. We will get to it, but it is like you said, that is actually a really good example. Like we could have used terminology that was already like we could have used a namespace that was already registered within the tricking code base, we could say.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what this is. It's a lot like programming, and it's like if you have a variable in your program that has the same name as another variable, you're going to have conflicts, you know? And that's kind of what these things are. These names for tricks or movements or whatever are variables that represent those movements. And so when you have two variables that are the same, there's going to be that collision, and there's going to be that confusion, like just in the entire system.
I could see how that'd be really bad in computing if you had like.
Oh yeah, it's really bad in our community too. It's just we're humans, so we find a way to like not break down entirely when we run into like an error like that. But computers, they don't have a choice. Like, they have to just stop when something like that happens.
Well, that's kind of my goal when we talk about trick theories. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to think like a computer. I'm not trying to be uber rational, uber logical, like, completely follow by the rules, whatever kind of thing. But I am trying to get to a state that's somewhat like that, because I think sometimes we throw out terms willy-nilly when we create terms for tricking, not really thinking about the repercussions of it in the future, and we've had a lot of examples of that. Holy shit! Like
or current repercussions in the current like tense, like what that means for like what currently exists. Like if we started naming like a new variation of base trick, like for example, if Snap-oo came up now and we started calling like Snap-oo the base trick and not the variation.
Yeah.
Right, like you see, we would just have problems, and stuff like that happens all the time in tricking. Like, I guess I won't name any names, Shosei, but when you just start naming exciting things, like it's exciting, but like slow down, take a second, think about
the repercussions.
Right. Like, it doesn't have to be named this second. Like, Shosei did something crazy. Let's take some time to figure out exactly what happened. We can name it appropriately from there.
I agree. I think if you take away one thing from our podcast, any listener, if you take away a singular fucking thing, please just name stuff mindfully, is really what I'm trying to get at.
Right.
It's just, when you come up with a name for things, think, would this be confusing in the future if we try to modify it? If we try to do this, is it going to make it confusing? Because, like I said, and to give you concrete examples, we named a lot of things swipe. We just like to add swipe at the end of things. Just fun. Like, it was just, that's it. We just added swipe. When side swipe is already a base trick. Or not a base trick, I should say, but,
Hey, I don't blame trickers. Swipe is a cool-ass word. I think tricking has some of the coolest words for stuff that happens, like vanish, swipe.
Absolutely, but then when you're like scissor swipe and hyper swipe and like all this shit, I'm like, swipe is a very particular thing. You can't just add swipe.
You can't just like staple it on to whatever.
Exactly.
And this is a swipe. And this is a swipe.
Yeah. Anyway, it just reminds me of the great Emperor Nero of Constantinople, who would just...
Was that an actual...
I think so.
Was
I think
that an actual... And I'm sorry, Frank, those aren't emperors. Those are...
he was an emperor?
Sultans.
Oh, well, actually, he was an Ottoman. I'm so sorry. But he did, like, I'm pretty sure live in Constantinople. I remember Nero was fucking insane, because he was, like, he burned down the city and had his horse in the Senate or some shit like that. Like, he was actually insane.
What a crazy guy.
Yeah, he would probably...
Now, so is this in the Holy Roman Empire, or just the regular Roman Empire? Oh, okay, it's AD, so it's
68 AD. Most likely just before the Holy Roman Empire, I would say. Yeah. Or just before the Byzantine.
The Byzantine Empire, I'm sorry. Yes, that's right. Thank you, King, for correcting me.
It might be the Byzantine. Anyway, yeah.
No, it's not. I don't think so. Check when the Byzantine Empire arose.
All right. Let me see really quick.
Just double check real quick.
Yeah. Of course. Byzantine started 330, so actually it's just Roman Empire.
Yep, just Roman Empire. This was during the later stages when things were going really bad.
Exactly. All I'm saying is Nero would add swipe at the end of everything. So just don't be Nero.
Right. That's a very old head thing to do, actually, when you think about it. And Nero is the pinnacle of old head.
Very old.
Literally
head.
35 AD.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely.
You guys. Yeah, everyone who wants to put swipe at the end of things, you're literally living in 35 AD. Yeah,
you're unga bunga as fuck. Anyway, don't be Nero. So. Anyway,
don't be if anyone listening to the podcast takes anything away from the show, it's don't be Nero.
After I just said, if you take one thing from this podcast. Anyway.
No, it's literally not what Frank said earlier.
Yeah.
This is the official revision. Minutes later.
Yep.
Don't be Nero.
Exactly.
So, all right.
Let's
talk about the actual issue, if you're ready for that.
The actual issue. So when you say actual issue, I assume you mean the transitions issue? Transitions?
That's the real issue. And
All
we've
right.
talked about this real issue in the past, but
we have.
Frank, I know this is one you feel hot about.
I get so fired up about this shit. I get so...
I'm feeling your blood boiling from through the video.
Yeah, no, it's
All
don't even get me fucking started, dude. Like, okay, TKT is like, oh, I'm gonna come along, I'm gonna fix some tricking terminology, whatever, blah blah blah. And fixes the absolute worst thing to fix because it's not even relevant. I don't give a fuck how much rotation you have on your thing. I really don't care because I'm gonna label it as a 1, a 1.5, or a 2. Like, that's really all I'm gonna say about it, okay? So why the fuck are you focused on that aspect of it? The thing that is actually wrong about your kicks, and I think we've all felt in our bones, there's something wrong with kicks, right? And like, I know the first thing that's easy to jump on is the degrees. It's so easy to do that. It's like, yeah, it's the glaring issue. No, it's not, okay? Because how many other tricks, just solo tricks, are named exclusively after their transition? And what I mean by that is when we say cork, there's no, like, you can say swing cork because that's what what transition you're doing into it, but you could also vanish cork. You could also do a bunch of transitions into cork. There's a reason why we just say cork. Like, that's not the actual, like, we don't have the transition in the name of the trick. Same thing with, like, A-twist and rise. The only inverted trick that we have this issue with is wrap, and this is something we talked about in the past. Wrap actually is a very big issue. Wrap full, I don't know why we named it after the transition that happens. It's kind of annoying because you can do things that aren't wrap into full. And if you could see what I'm getting at, the fact that you could do different transitions into the same trick means that naming kicks after their transitions gets rid of that. So you have cheat kicks, and we have to call it cheat kicks, and we can't, like, yeah, we say vanish, 9 or whatever the fuck, but you could do that same movement for vanish 9 and it'll be a rapid or whatever the fuck. And we've never taken into account, we just say, I don't know, we might say cheat 9 or some shit like that. So there's this glaring issue where it's just you can swing 9, but you can vanish into swing 9, you know? like I don't...
Right.
It's so annoying.
So, and how would you describe that in a combo? Vanish, swing 9?
Vanish, swing... I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Never say 2 transitions next to each other like that. We will actually just, like, delete you.
Delete you.
It's really cursed.
Canceled.
Yeah, you're canceled.
So, eloquently put, brother, that is nail on the head the issue here with transitions. And this extends further to other things, too. Like, this isn't just swings. This is pops. As we had described earlier, you can pop into backside kicks. You can punch into backside kicks. You can pop into what was referred to as pop kicks, which is a frontside kick. And you can punch into frontside kicks, which is what used to be referred to as pop. So how would you say that? Would you say pop or punch pop 9? Like, no, of course not.
Pop 9.
You wouldn't.
Gross.
Pop now, yeah, exactly. With pop, the fix for this is actually a little easy. We just switch pop to frontside, and like you were describing, Frank, and we had provided this fix, optional fix, I want to say, for the wrap stuff, and by calling it, by renaming wrap as tack.
Yeah.
And then that would, because if vanish full or vanish wrap full is tack full, then you should be able to vanish as well as wrap, because those are the same. Anyway,
I think the wrap full thing is a good example of the other thing I was talking about, where I'm using pre-existing terminology for, I'm saying tack, which is already a trick that exists, but I'm using it for a different trick. But because they're very synonymous, like in terms of like technically tack full is a wrap, like it's just a way to go into a wrap full, it's a good way to substitute it. It's a good way to say I just did cart swing tack full, and you understand that was what we colloquially call wrap full, and then it covers all the bases, because then you could say vanish tack, and you understand that that's what we've always thought of as tack. So in my opinion, that's a way to make it not confusing, and if you want more information on that, you should listen to our transitions episodes, because that's what really hits on it.
I appreciate you explaining that concept very well for me, And while I do agree that that is a good example, it is also kind of a bad example to our point, because I will admit that renaming Wrapped Attack can be confusing, as it does, like we had kind of already complained, that it does reuse existing terminology for stuff. So
it's not
that
perfect.
is something that's, it's not perfect, but it's an option.
Yeah.
And like you had described, I think it's kind of eloquent. I'm not necessarily saying rename Wrapped Attack.
No, I
as
am.
like a mandate or anything.
I am. It's a mandate. You should do it now.
I love that we both have our things that we're both like, no, that is true. That is how it is. And then there's like, and the other person is like iffy on it.
Yeah, it's our
This
dynamic.
is definitely.
Dude.
It is. This is definitely one that you're adamant on. When I'm like,
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I thank you so much for describing that, Frank. That you described it very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the concept there for rapping. But yeah, this is a huge issue, especially when we get to like a vanished front side kicks, because like we don't even have a way to describe those really. Like,
I agree.
And your proposed solution, Frank, actually works really well for this.
Yeah.
Because it differentiates between something like what would be like a vertical tack 9.
Mm-hmm.
and an A-twist 9, and I'll let you again go ahead and describe your own theory here.
Right. So clearly, we just completely shot on TKT with facts and logic, like just completely destroyed. Like no coming back now. Like you guys should stop using TKT right this second. So now you might be thinking, oh, Frank, we need something to replace it. We need something that can accurately name our kicks, so that we're not stuck with bullshit like Ethan Turner calling Muggle Slayer 9 a misleg 9 when it's not even a misleg. All right, so what?
It's a Muggle Slayer.
It is a Muggle Slayer 9, and that's really at the root of it. And I think personally, this is a very eloquent fix. And I have a feeling I'm gonna get a lot of heat for it, because it is a little bit spicy. It is a little bit like, whoa, that's a radical change. But I think it could work. I really do think it could work. So, what is the first tenet of my proposed trick theory? First of all, get rid of those goddamn fucking transitions. Hate that shit. And keep the rotation.
It was a pig.
Yeah. Exactly. Keep the rotation, though, actually. I'm okay with using degrees. I think when trickers are talking to each other and we say, yo, that was a 9, it's very intuitive for us to be like, 9 is 1 twist round for everything. Backside 9, 1 twist round. Cheat 9, 1 twist round. Front side. Like, literally all of that shit, it, like, matches up really perfectly, actually. So I'm like, I like that aspect of tricking, actually. So
and it's easy, and it's what we currently use.
Yeah.
Just wanted to interject there real quick.
Exactly. So, in my proposed trick theory, which I'm calling True Intuitive Trick Science. Okay, that's the name of the format, okay? So, True Intuitive Trick Science, let me just give you an example. So, let's say someone does a swing 9, right? That is, in essence, equivalent to cork round, right? So, all we have to do is just say cork 9. It's really that easy. If you say 9, it's implied that you're doing a vert kick. It's really easy. The only time that's not been a thing is with tack 9. People will say tack 9, but no one uses tack 9 anymore. So I think it's very intuitive to say, I did cork 9. I know you did a cork setup. Maybe it was vanish. Maybe it was swing. I don't know. You can say that when you say vanish cork 9 or swing cork 9. Then I'll understand. And then that way you don't have the mix up with the transition. And then because I'm saying 9, you understand this is vert and you're doing a single twist and you're kicking. And then if it's a vert box cutter, then you're doing cork 10. It's really that easy. Like, so simple. And then this also opens the door for more theoretical tricks. There's very few people I've seen do an A-twist 9. That is a trick that exists. You can do an A-twist takeoff, vert kick, and do a single twist round. That is something that exists that very few people do, because that space does not exist within our mainstream terminology. Like, what transition is specific to A-twist? Like, you can A-twist in a lot of ways. You can vanish into A-twist, you can swing into A-twist, you can wrap it into A-twist. So, if we do A-twist 9, you could wrap it into A-twist 9. You could swing into A-twist 9. You can do so much shit. So,
and I wanted to talk a little bit about this theory, because I was thinking we have some notes here regarding researching frontside swing kicks. Like you had just mentioned, frontside, you're talking about A-twist, which is a frontside trick, and swinging into it, and it something like that becomes simple, as you said, frontside or just swing through a twist 9. And I also like that you already tackled the issue that came to mind immediately, which is the tack 9. And no one should really be using tack 9 anymore.
No.
And in fact, if we use it in this way, wrap 9 becomes tack 9.
Yep.
And that's just so much. And that's what tack 9 essentially was, but vertical. So
yeah,
like
exactly.
easy.
Even cheat kicks, we can keep cheat kicks. We could still say cheat 9, but technically that's actually attack that you're doing. But go on.
Now, and I want to talk about how much easier swing A twist 9 is versus swing rise 9, because
really? Oh
swing
no,
rise
because
9
the multiple twists.
yeah, is literally because the difference between those two is frontside and backside, even though they are at the international trick line. So just keep in mind, boys and girls, when you're doing swing through A twist 9, it's only going to be 360 degrees, and when you're doing frontside A twist, or when you're doing rise 9, swing through rise 9, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's going to be 2 twists.
Most people that are doing front swing 9 or front swing tornado are actually doing rise tornado, and that's another aspect of this that I would name. So it's like if you do cork tornado, that's really just like a 0 twisting. It's like a gainer, but you didn't invert and you just kick, right? So tornado is like the baseline. Then it goes to obviously 7 and then 9 and then so on. So, yeah.
Yes, but no, I honestly, I really think that's a great solution. The only thing to keep in mind with it is just that if you hear a number at the end of your inverted trick name, it's reverted to its vertical version.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the only really hard thing about this.
Yeah, it's like you hear cork and you're like cork, and then you have to modify it afterwards, saying 9.
Yeah.
But I also
should be no problem.
I also think it's elegant in the fact that I'm under the belief, and I'm pretty sure most trickers would actually agree with this, whether they subconsciously or consciously agree with it, is that every inverted trick has a vert trick counterpart. Like, I really do hardcore believe in this, and this format is a way to reflect that. So true intuitive trick science is a way to convert invert tricks to vert tricks in a very seamless way and without making all the transitions really confusing. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, I 100% agree. I think it literally recycles everything that's inverted to a vertical version.
Yeah.
And it streamlines that process. Now, I did have an issue with this that I wanted to, like, it was a non-issue, one that was like
like minor. Because you're throwing me, easy balls. You're just like whatever.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Well, I got to keep you on your toes. I was gonna say that, like, a big issue is, like, Frank, we said we don't like to reuse terminology.
Right.
Especially like pre-existing terminology for new concepts or whatever. But I still think that the concepts are close enough that it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. It's not in that uncanny valley, okay? That's kind of what I was getting at. Is like when I was talking before, it's not in the uncanny valley of it's new it's old terminology, but it's attributed to very different things or subtly different things that it becomes super confusing. It's attributed to enough new things that it's still like a comfortable way to use it, if that makes any sense. So
right.
Like, I don't know, like, I feel like TKT, because it just shifted over the numbers, that's really confusing, because, like, a 540 round, and then 540 is already a trick that exists in my head, but they're both kicks, but they're very, like, I don't know, like, different. Like, in this aspect of this format, like, yeah, I'm reusing 9, but I'm using a 9 in a way that it's still a vert kick, but I can modify a cork in a way that it's like a 9, and so it's one twist round. You know what I mean? So...
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree that I think a big part about it is that the invert names aren't currently used in the vertical namespace, where, like, in the vertical namespace we typically have the transition names for the tricks rather than these actual pre-existing trick names for kicks.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really, I guess those are really the only things I had that would be like a downside to the Frank theory. But honestly, I think that this episode's made me a big supporter of the Frank theory.
I know.
If you're not using the Frank, if you're not using the Frank theory at home, you need to be.
Yeah, I was gonna say it took me a second to really convince Jason of true intuitive trick science, but like, I don't know. This has been a few months in the making, but I think this is the most support you've shown for it, and I'm really happy about it because
Oh yeah.
I think it's a good fix. So
Oh no, I think it is a really elegant fix. I think, given some time to really mull it over, I've come to accept the truth of true intuitive trick science.
And that's what I'm expecting from the community at large. I expect people to hear this and be like, fuck off, Frank. This is the stupidest
Rejection.
shit I've ever heard in my life. But please, just give me the benefit of doubt, like I gave TKT the benefit of doubt and it failed. But like, just do it. And I think it's a really good format, actually. So, let us know what you think in the comments. Really mull it over. Try to see if there's any inconsistencies, if there's anything that doesn't fit or whatever. I'll gladly address it. I would say the biggest gap in here is differentiating between the direction that you're kicking. So let's say I do a cork round versus a cork late round, for example.
Right, kicking at complete versus kicking at mega.
Yeah.
Where mega is normal and complete is abnormal.
That's not as reflective in true intuitive trick science, obviously. But you could fix it. I don't really like this fix, but you could fix it by saying cork 9 round, and then you could say cork 10 round for the quote-unquote frontside variation, but it's really you're kicking at the mega location, or not the mega location, at the semi, which is kind of like the fix that TKT had. I don't really care.
Sorry, my proposed fix on that would be to reuse the same invert terminology, and that's to say late round, late hook,
shit. I didn't
late
even think
swipes.
of that.
Yeah, no. It's actually like truly beautiful because that would solve that issue entirely, and also be consistent with pre-existing naming.
The cool thing about this is that late 9 becomes a thing again, because I could say cork late 9, and if you're using
and you would have. I think you'd have to. And late 9 has never been inaccurate. Except for when it was used to describe something like late 12, or you know what I'm saying.
So we switched
late 9
to
is
late
only
round, yeah.
Yeah, late X is only inaccurate when used inaccurately. Essentially,
that's groundbreaking, Jason.
Truly, what I'm saying though is that it's typically safe to say like double cork late round rather than cork late 12 or something.
Right.
But in my opinion and in my mind, those are probably synonymous. Aside from the fact that one's vertical in the true intuitive trick science framework.
I was going to say that namespace is filled by true intuitive trick science now.
Yes, exactly. Yep, the namespace is taken.
Unless you want to say cork late round 9. But that's probably a mouthful.
Yeah, so probably not. Yeah. And I think if we just maintain like late round, like late 9s and stuff, and we keep that may be another issue though with true intuitive trick science, is that people may understand late 9 to be like just a late round on inverts and not apply that same thinking. Like they might call a full late round a full late 9.
Yeah.
When actuality a full late 9 would be a backside 9.
It would
late 9.
I agree. It would take some like modifying of like the conscious of tricking to get used to that aspect of it. But I do think it's an important aspect to really mull over, because just imagine someone doing cork late 9 swing Lotus or swing Muggle Slayer. I think swing Lotus is more accurate, but like that sounds really sick actually. Personally,
I agree. Well, and to be honest, Talking Tricks has never really set out to make groundbreaking changes, but my idea with Talking Tricks has always been to get the idea out there at least. I've never really expected to make movements with the podcast, and to have the predictability with things like the Muggle Slayer and everything has been such
crazy,
like such an honoring experience. It's truly been like so rewarding beyond words can describe. And I think that if we can at least get this idea out there, if we can show people that they're like the problem with tricking isn't rotation, it's transitions. Then like even if they don't accept true intuitive trick science itself, if they accept some other theory that addresses this issue, then that's fine. That's perfect. That what we're looking for is just to get the idea out there, to share that it's not it's not the rotation that fucking matters, because we don't give a shit about that.
No.
In fact, it's easier if you don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Like you said,
Just make
it's
9
easier-
a
it's
1
easier.
in your head. That's it. That's all you have to do.
Exactly. It's literally like you said. If we stick to what we already know, what's already natural and what's instinctive, then there's no issue with the rotation.
Would you say this is
Instead-
intuitive?
How? What?
I'm
would you say?
just
Like, I mean,
referencing the name.
I thought you were meant like I wasn't sure what you were asking is intuitive. Yes, I would say true intuitive trick science is intuitive,
Right.
and that's what the intuitive aspect is
Yeah.
the amount of rotation.
I
True
agree.
intuitive trick science.
Yeah, it goes off intuition, so I think that's really a big benefit of it. Like, it doesn't... I think a really big thing we want to get out there with trick science and trick theory is, like, trick science and trick theory doesn't have to be 100% reflective of the real world, because, honestly, it's a fucking mess if you make it like that. It's really hard, it's really clunky, and no one would ever use it. So...
Well, real quick, if you're measuring like real world, like that's when we get into like the super like thin slicers, like we had described, where things are like there's literally an infinite number of degrees between 0 and 360.
Yeah.
And then that's where we start to introduce that bullshit. But also, really quick, I think it is I know we kind of already are done beating the dead horse that is TKT with a stick, but I just want one more swing.
Yeah.
And I'll feel satisfied.
Okay. Go ahead.
And it's that like as you've described, I think the benefit to trick theory is like how intuitive it is. And with true intuitive trick science, it is truly intuitive, as the name would suggest.
Truly intuitive.
Yeah, and while TKT is not intuitive, like you have to sit down and think about what you saw was a cheat 9, and then reprocess that, parse it into a different format, and then regurgitate that format to someone else who uses that same format. Like, that's not intuitive. That's not beneficial. That's not, you know. And while learning TKT does help you communicate better, it doesn't help you communicate anything more than what you're already able to communicate with normal pre-existing terminology.
Yeah, it's like we still understand it. We still get what's happening. Like, we don't really need that added description of, like, it's actually technically 720. Like, you literally sound like Ben fucking Shapiro when you do that shit. Like, you're like,
right. And we've already just,
hypothetically speaking, that was actually 720 degrees, actually. Curious.
It was actually 719 degrees.
Yeah, it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. So, I think the last note I want to leave off on is that, like I said before, like, it's very hard to make new terms a relevant thing. Like us with Ultra, like, that was a struggle, but, like, some people did latch on. And I would say the biggest thing, like, if you really do believe in true intuitive trick science, and I don't expect you all to, but if you really do like this format, just start using it in your everyday language. Just start using it with the homies. Try to explain it to them, and then say, like, oh, wow, that was Cork 9. Like, that was Vanish Cork 9. Good. Like, you know what I mean? Is, like, that's what me and Jason have been doing. Like, we'll, like, half-jokingly be like, haha, that was actually this and this and this. Like, being nerds. But I think that's a good way to make it latch on in your head, and then latch on to, like, other people and shit like that. So...
Right. Yeah, just start using it. If you like true intuitive trick science, please...
Yeah.
Teach your friends true intuitive trick science. It's not hard. It's intuitive. We try to make it in that way. And if you have any advice, recommendations, or suggestions about true intuitive trick science, questions or concerns, please let us know, and we'll address them, and we'll talk to you, reply to comments, everything.
Yeah.
Want to help get this out there.
Yeah. Exactly. So, I think, unless you have something to say, Jason, I think that's really all we have to say about stupid-ass fucking TKT. So...
Nope, I'm really satisfied with this.
Yeah, I agree. So, alright, well, hope you guys have a great day, and catch you later, Trick Theorists. Bye.